Hi there! In this video, we will be learning how to apply the power rule to simplify exponents. When dealing with exponents, it is important to remember that the full-size number is called your base, and the small raised number is called your exponent. Exponents represent repeated multiplication. The base represents the number that is being multiplied, and the exponent represents how many times it is being multiplied. For example, 6 to the third power could be the same thing as 6 times 6 times 6. Sometimes you will be given a number raised to a power inside parentheses that is then raised to another power. For example, 6 to the third in parentheses raised to the fourth power. When this occurs, you apply the power rule. The power rule states that you keep your base and multiply your exponents. It is called the power rule because a number raised to an exponent is also called a power. Let's look at an example and see why this works. 6 to the third is the same as 6 times 6 times 6. And 6 to the third in parentheses raised to the fourth is the same as 6 times 6 times 6 4 times. Notice, if we multiply 6 to the third 4 times, we end up with 12 sixes. This means we have 6 to the 12th power. Now, let's use the power rule and see how we can get this same answer a lot quicker. Here we are again looking at the same problem, 6 to the third in parentheses raised to the fourth power. This time we are going to apply the power rule. The power rule states that you keep your base and multiply your exponents. This means our first step is to keep our base 6 as 6. Our second step is to multiply our exponents, 3 times 4, which equals 12. This means we have 6 to the 12th power, which is the answer that we got before. For our second example, we have 3 to the fifth in parentheses raised to the second power. Again, the power rule states keep your base and multiply your exponents. Our base 3 stays as 3, and then when we multiply 5 times 2, we get the new exponent 10. This means our simplified answer is 3 to the 10th power. Again, notice our parentheses go away. For our third example, we have 8 to the fifth in parentheses raised to the fourth power. Again, our first step is to keep our base as is, so our base remains 8. Our next step is to multiply our exponents. 5 times 4 gives us 20. This means our simplified answer is 8 to the 20th power. For our last example, we have 5 to the second power in parentheses raised to the 0 power. Our first step is to keep our base 5 as 5. Our second step is to multiply our exponents. 2 times 0 gives us 0. Now, in this case, our answer reads 5 to the 0 power. This in itself is its own rule, the 0 power rule. This rule states any base to the power of 0 will always equal 1. This means 5 to the 0 power equals 1. I hope you found this video helpful and feel better applying the power rule.